This one case really impacts me because this family has been so brave. They let their picture come out in the local Star Beacon newspaper and received an onslaught of hate mail that the editor apparently very happily published. Everybody in school was questioning them. They put illegal in big block letters over their photo, and yet here they still are today, still speaking up. So, Elena, do you want to talk about what phone call you just got? ¿Quieres decirnos de la llamada que acabas de recibir de la escuela?
Bueno, pues yo nada más les quiero decir que me acaban de llamar de la escuela de que Jonathan, desde que pasó, de que lo detuvieron y todo eso, él ya no tiene progreso en la escuela, él está aislado de sus amigos, de los estudios, y quieren que él tenga una terapia con un psicólogo para ver cuál fue el problema que le afectó, que está muy aislado. Eso es todo.
So she got a call from the schools that they are recommending that he get a psychologist because ever since that incident he's not been responding. He's very detached, and it is true that after he was incarcerated he didn't speak for a very long time. And this is what we are doing to the children in our community. Now this is one family. I just want to point out to you how many families here have lost a father or a mother or had their children locked up. We have a 16-year-old girl. Where's Eileen? Eileen, who's 16, was taken from her vehicle late at night, put into the local highway patrol cell, transported to a jail in Erie, Pennsylvania, transported to yet another jail in Pennsylvania, made to strip, stand naked. What are we accomplishing by this? Only to be released several hours later, not given anything to eat or drink for 15, 16 hours. Now we have over here, do you want to come up here for a second? Yo sé que no quieres hablar, pero yo voy a hablar. He's very shy to speak, Roberto, who has a valid driver's license. He's a U.S. citizen. He was stopped on Saturday with his friends, made to get out of the vehicle, patted down, told that he had his brights on. Were your brights on? After they were taken out of the vehicle, that he was asked, are you legally here in the United States? And he was. ¿Cuánto tiempo te detuvieron? Y te hicieron hablar con la patrulla fronteriza. So they were detained for half an hour, and all searched. Te dieron un ticket? Never given a ticket. This is just one case. Let me introduce also, yes, si se quieren sentar. Amanda, do you want to come up here and say a few words? Amanda speaks English, and she could talk about what happened to her husband when he was pulling out of his restaurant in Ashtabula. Just a couple.
My husband was driving home from work with, he had his little brother with him, and they were pulled over. They said that they pulled him over for not having their lights on. They were maybe pulling out of the restaurant. 2 seconds out of pulling out of there, he got pulled over. The police officer was standing across the street, waiting for somebody to pull out of there.
It was a Mexican restaurant.
Yes, it was authentic. And ever since then, we've been fighting and trying to find help for them. Christian's family, he can't go to school there. He can't afford it. His parents can't afford to feed him. So we have him here. I have 2 kids. My husband loves them very much. We're scared to death because I know if he gets deported, they're going to have to go there and see him. And I've been to Mexico. I love Mexico. It's beautiful. But you don't understand the struggle that they face there. Just to go to the hospital, just to know that I have to have money to take my child to the hospital if he gets hurt, if he gets bit by a scorpion, anything. And just knowing that there's a chance that I wouldn't have that right then and there and my child could die or something. I mean, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it's the truth. It's not as beautiful as it seems there, and I understand why they're all here. I know a lot of these families here, and they're all very nice, very wonderful.
Next, I want to introduce the Deltardas family. Joanne, would you like to say a few words about what happened to you?
One thing that prompted us to what has brought us here and prompted us to be involved with this. And first of all, I appreciate Veronica has been very helpful to me, and I'm so happy that I got to know her and had contact to be at this press conference today. Our daughter, Shayla, is engaged to a gentleman from Argentina. His name is Ruben Perez. Ruben had entered this country legally on a guest visa at the time he came. His visa had expired. He was again detained for a minor traffic violation 3 weeks ago, this coming Sunday. One thing I want to bring up too is we continue to hear how people are taken in and how law enforcement is turning them over. I am not certain of this, but the understanding that I have at this time is this is not a legitimate and legal thing for the police officers, state patrol, sheriff to do. They are not allowed to turn somebody over to immigration for a minor offense. It is ignored, it is done all the time, and there's nothing that any of us can do about it, it seems to me. This is one place that we have to see some justice be served. He was turned over to immigration. We were told they would set bond. We went down with bond money. When we got there, they informed us that they will be deporting him. Shayla, our daughter, and Ruben are expecting her first child in February. She is a high-risk pregnancy because she's a type 1 diabetic. And one thing that I have here, and I'd actually like to read this statement. This is from Dr. Mark Landon, who is the director of the Division of Maternal Fetal Medicine at the Ohio State Medical Center in Columbus, Ohio. This incident had taken place in Franklin County, so it was in Columbus. But basically, he mentions Ruben Perez's name several times in his letter, and this was a letter that we had turned over to ICE, pleading with them to let Ruben be released, or at least possibly be allowed to stay in the country until the birth of the child. But Dr. Mark Landon writes that for the safety of Ms. Deltardas and the unborn child, I have recommended to her that Ruben Perez be present at her side throughout the pregnancy and the labor of the delivery process. This was turned over to Corey Price, who is affiliated with ICE, and basically he outright denied it. Again, when we present something that there is risk to families, to children, there is no consideration taken by the country. And the thing that is puzzling as well is, one thing that I have here in writing is throughout the Immigration and Nationality Act, unification of the family unit has been a strong underlying theme. Our government needs to realize it is in their interest that protection and unity of the family be first and foremost in any decisions that they are making. I believe our country is enabling, with the process that is now in place, the immigration problems that we have. Over and over again, obviously there's many, many families from our county correctional facility in Mount Gilead. Every week there is 70, there is 80, there is 90 people deported on a weekly basis. People that are being torn from their families. I have met families down there that have been here, that have 3 children, that are United States citizens, but their fathers and their mothers are being ripped away from them and deported. This is supposed to be the United States of America, and unity of family should be, again, foremost in the decisions that we're making.
I just want to add, what seems to puzzle me is that our country gets involved in human rights